What's up YouTube? This is CJ.
And Sarah.
It's a Wednesday, and that means it's time for another Keto
Conversations.
So let's get started. So I'm going to start off by saying something real quick because this is already becoming a problem with us. So for years, or a year or two, we've been saying that we need a monitor on our camera so that we can see ourselves as we talk to the camera. So we have this little, on the camera, it's a little flip out screen normally, and it's really small, you can't hardly see yourself. So we actually invested in a monitor that sits on top of the camera. So what am I telling you all this for? Is because it is very difficult to look right at that camera versus looking up at that.
Try sitting in front of a mirror and not looking at yourself.
Yeah, it's very difficult. So if you see us looking kind of weird,
up, down, all around.
It's just because we're trying to figure out, we need to look at the camera and not at the monitor, but it is difficult to do now that we have this new thing.
Okay, so now the elephant in the room has been
so now we got that
addressed.
we got that taken care of. So anyway, we just wanted to kind of give a life update and talk about just what's going on in life.
Chit chat.
Yeah, just a little chit chat. I don't know, some people might watch this channel called Nona Grace, and every day Nona does a chit chat, and she talks about stuff that's going on the farm and stuff with the chickens and the roosters.
We're going to talk about the farm.
So now we're gonna do a little chit chat
about our funny farm.
Take a page out of Nona's thing and just talk about just life in general. Not just about keto, but just about life in general and kind of how we're dealing with all the changes that have come our way. So we got married on March 17th, and seems like it's just been go ever since then.
A lot of changes.
You want to talk about some of the changes you've experienced?
Well, I've had a major adjustment in my work schedule. I'm considered an essential employee, so I'm still going to work every day. And instead of I've been working the graveyard shift for the last 6 years, and now I'm working the day shift, so I'm getting up at 5:30 and not coming home until 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So it's basically the opposite of what I was doing before. So it's been a big challenge, and trying to remanage my time and dealing with the girls and filming and
Sure.
making dinners and things like that.
Sure.
And
yeah, we've had to. We're still trying to figure out how to adjust our schedule to do stuff as far as YouTube. I mean,
right.
Because when you worked at night,
you would come home from work. I would be getting up. I would get ready, and we would film. But now
we had a pretty good routine
down,
and so now this has really kind of thrown things off. It's just trying to figure out how to do things, and
then I have 2 young daughters at home, 8 and 9, and trying to school them and still work 40 hours a week. I really applaud all of you parents out there, of course, who are homeschooling and have your kids at home, but especially those of you who are still considered essential workers and still have to work a 40-hour work week and try and educate your kids. It's been a big challenge, and of course you always feel that paternal guilt. Am I giving them enough time? Am I doing this? Am I doing that?
And just to remind people, so we live in Washington State, and they basically, just like in a lot of other states, they basically shut schools down for the rest of the year.
No more school.
And so they did that. I don't even know when they did it, but it feels like it's been forever, but it's only been probably 3 or 4 weeks since it happened. So we, Sarah sits down, makes out a school schedule every day as we try to work through.
I'm an old-fashioned nerd. I still like my children to use a paper and pencil, so I bought them workbooks and worksheets. They still do their computer work in the afternoon, but I still like them to actually physically write stuff.
Sure.
So.
And basically I'm working at home, so I have a job where I can work from home. I don't normally do that, but because of what's going on with the COVID-19 and everything, I've been allowed to work at home actually since March 16th. I've been working at home, and so that's a big adjustment. And then with the girls being here all day, we live in a small house.
900 square feet.
Yeah, 900. I think it's bigger than 900 square feet.
It's 939 square feet.
Okay, well, it's 939 square feet. Not just nine.
Ooh, that extra 39 square feet.
Every foot matters when you live in a small house.
So you're trying to do your job.
I'm trying to do my
job.
job.
Very intensive. It's lots of meetings, lots of conferences, all kinds of stuff, and still try and manage, assisting the girls with their
Yeah.
schooling. So it's been hard. I
Yeah.
think you're actually working more from home than you normally do from your office.
Yeah, it is.
And I think it's harder for you to shut down.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I was going to say is, and some of you guys might know this if you're in this situation where you're able to work at home or you're teleworking. I'm finding that it is difficult to shut down and stop. I have to force myself to take lunch, and I've talked to a lot of people that I work with that are doing the same thing. You have to force yourself to get away from the computer, get away from these meetings, these team virtual meetings, and just leave it alone. And part of the problem is that it's in my house.
Right.
And
it's not like you physically leave a building,
right.
You check out, you're done.
Right.
It's like you have to make yourself get up,
right,
and leave.
And so teleworking, you got a new schedule, and it just has created more stress. There's a lot of stress with my job just because of what's going on. Where there's a lot of decisions being made pretty rapidly.
Because you work in the hiring industry.
Yeah, right. So I work in hiring in HR, and so there's a lot of decisions being made at higher levels that I have to try to implement and try to work through. And so it's been really stressful. Now, don't get us wrong. We are thankful that we still have jobs. So we know that
Decidedly.
there is 22 plus million people who have lost their jobs. So we are thankful that we still have jobs to go to. But
so we're not complaining. We're just expressing the challenges that we're facing because of these circumstances.
Right. And all these things are stressors that can affect you on keto as well. It can affect your lifestyle, can affect how you gain weight, you lose weight.
Right.
And so stress, I think we did a video a couple of weeks ago about stress and dealing with stress eating. And I'm telling you, it's a real thing. It is a real thing. So I'm going to segue early. Now we have a little outline just because we don't want to be sitting here all night talking, because we could do that. But I'm going to segue early into, so we have decided to kind of tighten up some things with our keto lifestyle. Kind of reinvigorate, I think is the word you used.
I did.
Yeah. I don't want to say we were going to restart, because we're not restarting. We never stopped.
Right.
So.
But I think sometimes naturally, because we're going on, this is our 4th year on the ketogenic lifestyle. I think it's natural, especially during times of stress and just over time, where you start to maybe loosen up on things.
Sure.
You maybe get some carb creep. I noticed that my clothes were getting a little bit tighter, and that's how I gauge how I'm doing, because I'm not aware. I do not believe in the scale. That's not personally my mentality. But so I decided to start paying more attention to what I'm doing. It would be a good way of putting it.
Sure, I don't think, so now we're about 2 or 3 days into this, and you haven't really, you've changed as far as you're just more aware of what you're doing.
Right. And I actually put an app on my phone about fasting. I've never tracked my fasting. I've always just looked at the clock and said, okay, well, I stopped eating around, 6 o'clock last night. And, so I've been fasting for X amount of hours. But I actually have started putting it in an app. And it's been actually really helpful for me, because it tells me what percentage of the way I'm already done. How, I only have like 3% to go. And, it's just kind of a morale booster, and it gives me some accountability. And the other thing that I've started paying a lot more attention to is making sure that my fast is clean, because I haven't always been overly good at that, especially in the last year or so. And I despise black coffee with every fiber of my being, because I'm a heavy whipping cream gal. So that's been a challenge for me.
So this is true confessions.
True confessions.
Okay,
I like my coffee the way I like my coffee.
Yeah.
Creamy and sweet, just like me. So it's been really difficult, but I've learned, what works for me, and I actually do feel a lot better. I feel like my blood sugar is a lot more under control in those circumstances. So I have found I've been doing this for about 3 days, that I have actually felt more successful. So I'm hoping to continue to do that. I want to keep myself managed, because I've gotten to a certain point where it's more maintenance for me, but I want to keep maintaining that maintenance.
Sure.
So.
Sure. And I don't think, we ever thought we would ever be
No.
done with keto. We're never going to be done with keto. We have adopted keto as our lifestyle, but we just like everybody else need to be conscious of what we're doing, conscious of what we're eating, and as Sarah mentioned, it's easy to have carb creep.
Yeah, because you said something interesting the other night when we were sitting outside, and you said, I figured if I had the opportunity to lose 100 pounds, that I would no longer ever have to worry about my weight. And I thought that was an interesting thought because, losing 100 pounds is a major deal. I've lost 100 pounds or thereabouts. Mm-hmm. But I've never lost 100 pounds, but you did. But you don't have to stop thinking about it.
You still have to be concerned.
There is a possibility of you regaining, maybe not 100 pounds, but maybe part of that.
Sure.
If you don't watch it. And I'm not saying that you have to be on guard like you're crazy, but you can't just I'm here, I made it, stick your flag in the mountain and you're done. You are always going to have to just kind of pay attention.
Sure.
Especially if you're one of those people that, had insulin resistant or you had, health problems, or if you just had a lifetime of obesity.
Sure.
So,
sure.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we've decided to tighten up our keto, kind of reinvigorate ourselves. Now, Sarah's always been more of an intermittent faster than I have been. Today was my first day really fast, and I went 19 hours.
You did very well.
So I should say first day in a long time really going, especially that far. I shouldn't say first day fasting. I've fasted before.
Because you've been more of 16-8.
Yeah, I've fasted before, but today I actually was able to go 19 hours. I'm using an app just like Sarah. Now, Sarah said how the app motivated her. It didn't motivate me at all. I'm looking at that app, and I'm thinking, oh my God, I've got how many hours left to go? So it's funny how people look at things totally different. So
I've totally been this is awesome.
The apps haven't been motivating me. I'm looking at that circle, and the only thing that did motivate me is the one app that we're using. It shows you, it kind of estimates when you should be really burning fat.
Yeah, that's cool.
Or when you really should be heavily producing ketones. And it's just a guess. It's just an estimate. It's not scientific, but it's an estimate. And that kept me going. But the whole thing about, okay, you got 4 more hours to go, I'm thinking, oh my God, 4 hours, that is forever. So anyway, we don't talk about fasting that much on our channel. We believe in keto, but we also believe that fasting is a good tool as well that you can incorporate.
Anytime you are keeping your insulin low, and the lowest you can get your insulin is not to eat. So if you have a problem with your insulin being hyperinsulinemic or high insulin, that is definitely a tool.
Yeah,
it really
and so
is.
we might do another video about intermittent fasting maybe sometime in the near future. We did one a long time ago. We may do one in the near future. So we have an outline again just so we don't jump all over the place. But I kind of jumped all over the place already. But one of the things that we do want to talk about is we got new countertops. And so we got that. Yay! Today is, it's a Tuesday. This will go up on Wednesday. But we got these new countertops that came on Monday. And I was here.
Probably.
Yeah, I'll put some clips. I took some footage, but they took out the old countertop.
Because the countertops, did you put countertops in 20 years ago?
Yeah, they've been here.
Okay, so they were 20-year-old laminate. So
laminate,
and it
countertops.
had you had rented it to multiple renters through the years, so it had gone through a lot of people, and it needed some help. So
yeah, so we've been almost looking for countertops for close to a year.
Yeah, I'd say at least 9 months. For
sure.
Sure.
And a lot of it had
getting different bids.
A lot of it had to do with just couldn't find anybody who would do everything.
Yeah, we wanted. We didn't
want to tear out stuff.
We didn't want to do the tear out. We didn't want to do the plumbing. We didn't want to do any of that stuff. I mean, we're up for some challenges, but when you're both working full time and you got a young family, it's like sometimes you have to prioritize. If you can pay someone else to do it. You just pay it.
Yeah. And so we found a company and Precision Countertops out of Oregon. I'm just giving them a plug. And they were awesome. They were great. So we went through Home Depot, but that's who they subcontracted it with, Precision Countertops, and they were awesome.
Well, and then we had the whole, bring home the little tiny 4x1 inch
Yeah.
samples and lay it down on your existing laminate and try and figure out what it might look like.
Right.
It's really kind of difficult.
Right.
So, but I'm very happy with what we chose.
Yeah, I was a little bit concerned that, you know, because Sarah mentioned we had the little square, and you're looking at we actually have multiple squares trying to.
I got like 4 samples so we could make like a 5x5
but
inch.
you still don't know what it's going to look like when
Right.
it's fully here.
Right.
And I was actually pleasantly surprised yesterday when they got it down, and then today the plumber came in because we paid for everything. We paid for the plumber. We paid for everything.
So they put the sink in, they put the faucet in, they did everything. So.
Yeah, and so new countertops. So we're pretty excited about that. We'll see how they look on camera.
They're so shiny. It's
this
like a luxury hotel.
Yeah.
Like, do I really live here?
And a new sink. Got a new sink with it.
Yeah.
And we almost bought a garbage disposal, but then we took it back. So we just couldn't see the point of it.
Nope.
So that's one thing that's really good news. Let's see. You know, one of the things I'm trying to do is focus on some positive things and try to keep a routine. So one of the things I'm finding out with teleworking is, so the first couple of weeks I would just get up, put a shirt on, and put some sweats on. This week my goal is to get up, get dressed,
put on business attire,
get dressed like I'm going to work. And I noticed today that it actually did help just feel a little bit better. And I was reading somewhere that it's important, if you're in a teleworking situation, that you try to do things that keep you into a routine. That's important. And I would imagine that's the same even if you're having to try to shelter in place. It's find things that you can do that you like to do and then try to build routines. You know, there's a lot of stuff that a lot of us have always wanted to do, and this might be the time for you to start. You know, you might have a book that you already thought you could write. Well, start it. Get it done. Just start.
Or cooking.
All
those recipes you've always
all
wanted
those
to try.
recipes, or if you got, you know, drawers that need to be cleaned. Now I'm going to tell you, every time we go to a home improvement store, it is crowded.
There's no 6 feet of separation going on.
No, people are trying. People are trying to be social.
But everyone is doing something.
But I'm telling you, parking lots
now
are crowded because people, you know.
They're gardening. They're putting in windows.
Yeah, it's just amazing. So, anyway, let's see what else we got. So we're trying to focus on positive things. Again, this video wasn't about complaining. It was just about just talking about life. Let's see another challenge we're dealing with. Izzy is in Hawaii. I'm glad Izzy's in Hawaii.
But you can't get there and she can't get here.
Just from the standpoint of her being in a place where it's not as bad as it was here. But again, just like Sarah said, I can't get to her and she can't get back to me. And so that's difficult. That is very, very difficult for me. Because even though she's not here all the time, when she's here in the state, I still see her on a regular basis.
Weekly.
So,
weekly. Because where we live and where she lives is not very far away.
It's only about 20
and
miles.
CJ would drive down there weekly.
Yeah.
Midweek, weekends, whatever. And so you were seeing her pretty much every week.
So
to go from seeing your child every week to...
I've barely seen her and all that's difficult. And there's FaceTime and all that, but
it's not the same.
It's not.
And that definitely adds to your stress load.
Yeah. So, I guess our point behind this video tonight is to just let you know that we're all trying to make it through this new situation together. I was watching something before we started this video that the state of Georgia is starting to open up things. Their governor is...
Like being the test case or something.
It's going to open up some things in the state. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but I can say this about all of this. At some point, we're going to have to figure out how to get people back to work. We're going to have to figure out how to get things moving again. And so, just hang in there. We can make it through this and we will figure it out. It's funny how when I go to the store now, you got this routine. Now I wear a mask. We wear face masks when we go out and we put on gloves. I see people that don't have it and I go back and forth whether I should have it or shouldn't have it. And so it's funny because when this thing first started, they said, "Oh, you didn't need gloves, you didn't need mask." And I told Sarah, I said, it's funny that we don't need masks, but every time I look at somebody doing a test, they're like covered from head to toe.
It's probably because they didn't want there to not be enough masks,
right?
and that's what happened.
And then later they said, "Oh yeah, you can wear a mask," and so
right.
we have masks, and we've got some that we bought. We also have some that are that your mom made, and so we're blessed that way as well. But we're gonna get through this together. We can make it through this. There might be some things that are different after we get through this. Things may change a little bit, but we will get back together. We will be able to see our families again, and we will figure this out. So we just want to encourage you to just hang in there, keep being keto strong. If you need to tighten things up, hey, this is the chance to do it. You got nothing else to do. So this is the time to, if you need to tighten your keto up a little bit, or you want to experiment with intermittent fasting, this is the time to do it, especially if you're in a shelter-in-place situation. So if you're new to our channel, this is our Keto Conversation segment. We normally talk about keto topics, or we do food unboxings. Sometimes we throw a what we eat on keto video in on a Wednesday. But consider subscribing. We'd love to have you as part of our keto family. We are all about trying to help people be successful on keto and be able to live keto as a lifestyle, a sustainable lifestyle, because we do believe that you can sustain it and live it. We do new recipes every Sunday, and so we'd love to have you as part of our keto family. So we appreciate you being here. Thanks for watching, and we will talk at you later. Bye-bye.
Peace.